All right. PODFEST Expo 2024. Are you ready for your very first open mic? We're so excited. We've got some amazing professional comedians that's going to host this comedy train wreck. And I guarantee you, you're going to have a comedy experience you've never experienced before ever in your life, because this night with these people, these comedians, and these open micers will never, ever happen again. This is it. You're going to get bragging rights right now. You are the very first open micers and comedians to perform at PODFEST. That only happens once, so give it up. We're making history right now. So here's how this is going to work. We have 4 professional comedians that's going to host 4 blocks. They're going to bring on their open mics that's in their section, and then they're going to close out with 7 minutes and then introduce the next comedian coming up, and then they're going to do the same thing. And then once we're done, we're going to have a boisterous applause and a standing ovation for everyone who took this stage. Are you with me?
Yeah!
All right, just to get an idea of what a really good hit on a punchline is, I want you to laugh as loud and as hard as you can.
Yes.
Okay, ready? 1, 2. Okay, I like that energy. This is good. Open micers, you feel good now? You know what you're feeling? You know what's gonna happen? That's what they're gonna give you. This audience is gonna give you that. And if they don't, we're gonna lock the door, strip them naked, and beat them. So some of you are looking for that, I know. So you're not gonna laugh on purpose. I want to be locked up and I want to live too. All right, so we're gonna get this bad boy going here. Here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna bring up our first comedian. Couple quick rules. Number 1, no heckling. These guys have worked on their material, who are professional comedians, and the ones who's never done it before, they are shitting their pants. Can you close that door for me too, by the way? Can you close that door? And if you heckle them, you could really throw them off. So mess up their timing and all that stuff. So don't do that. Second rule, have as much fun, laugh, jeer each other, encourage each other to laugh and support. The jokes that you don't feel, just let them slide by. There's gonna be more coming through that you like, all right? Are you guys ready to get it going?
Yeah!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, your first comedian that's gonna rock this first block. He was on the comedy panel with Bob and I. We had a great time giving some nuggets on the comedy industry, and he's gonna kick this bad boy off. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jeff, everybody. Give it up for Jeff!
Yeah!
Hey, look at this, a brother and a Jew. For some of you, this might be considered community service. All right, well, we're gonna kick things off. We're gonna bring up our first comedian. This is an amazing guy. Contacted me on the Hoofa app. We go way back. He is a writer for The Tonight Show for 20 years. Full-time stand-up comedian for 38 years. Quarter finalist on the original Star Search. Lost to a puppet. Put your hands together for Frank Dean.
Hey, Kimberly Crowe, stand up for a second. People have been asking me all weekend, are you and Kimberly married? Well, here's the deal. We spend a lot of time together. We argue a lot. She won't have sex with me, so yes. The convention, one of my favorite conventions ever, North Carolina Wildlife Club. The big thing was deer hunting. I kept hearing this phrase, the sport of deer hunting. So I opened up by saying, do you guys think deer hunting is a sport? They're nodding yes. I go, okay. Name me one other sport where your opponent has no idea he's playing. And then the opening gun goes off, the deer has no idea he won the coin toss and elected to receive. Now, something else has changed since I was a kid. You have to wear orange, a ton of orange. And I know why when I asked the audience, hoping for the right response, and the guy yells out, so another hunter will not mistake you for a deer. Okay. I said, let me get this straight. We're selling guns and ammunition to human beings who cannot distinguish other human beings from You don't need a background check when you buy a gun. We need an IQ test. I'm taking a photo lineup of a bunch of deer and a guy, and I'll make it easy. Famous deer. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen. You can't pick out that guy. No gun for you, Albert Fine. Now we say that, but every year in the United States, somebody mistakes another somebody for a deer and plugs them. Happened in Georgia last fall. Fortunately, the guy just got winged, 2 stitches, he's fine. But you know where he was? Outside of Atlanta, in the country, behind his house, minding his own business, pruning a tree. Just wish I could have been in the woods with the 200 right before the one guy pulled the trigger just to hear the conversation that led up to it. Hey, Bob, what? I think I see a deer. Where? On that ladder. Now, the other difference is, when we were kids, we did not have chemicals you could use to enhance the chance of bagging a buck. They now have something called buck bomb. Somebody hired a scientist to duplicate the chemical female deer give off in their heat. They put it in a spray can, and they tell you it attracts the buck, which it does. But they do not tell you what I think should be a federally mandated warning on the can. Caution, this is a concentrate. It will not only attract the buck, it will send him into a romantic frenzy. So if you hunt deer, correct me if I'm wrong. The idea is you spray the stuff around the deer, you spray the stuff around where you're waiting on the deer and hope to God you kill him with the first shot. So I got news for you. If I miss, I'm using that second round on myself. I'll be sucking that rifle barrel like a disgruntled postal worker because I don't think this deer gets a face full of that Afro deer. See, that big boy's going to take no for an answer. I don't think the buck stops here. I don't think so. Thanks very much. Great team!
All right, you guys ready for your next comedian? Host of the Cancer and Comedy Podcast, cancer battler, retired pastor. Put your hands together for Dr. Brad Miller.
Hi, everybody, glad to be here. As mentioned, I am Dr. Brad Miller from the Cancer and Comedy Podcast. Those things don't seem to go together, but sometimes you have to take a twist on life. For instance, I'm a retired pastor. Anybody here, church people, grow up in church?
Yep.
You know how weird church is, right? I mean, I grew up in church and weird stuff happens like at weddings and at funerals. Had a wedding one time where a young guy was getting married. He was as nervous as can be. He was sweating buckets. His knees were knocking. His voice was going on. He was having a hard time. And the father of the bride looked like he was about ready to choke him out right there. So I did the vows. My job is to do the vows. I said, say to your bride, will you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife? And he squeaked out, I take this woman to be my lawfully bedded wife. Because the dad looked like he was going to kill him right there. Weddings are weird. Funerals are weird too. Had a funeral where this woman passed away. It was an open casket funeral, which is common in our tradition. The husband, everybody knew the husband and her didn't get along so well. This guy was a weird guy. He went up to the open casket, cut his cuticles right there, dropped the droppings, the trimmings into the open casket, and said, Dolores, that's the last nail in your coffin. In the church, we got to deal with money like everybody else, of course. But with money, it's sometimes how do the pastor get paid? So I was talking to a little pastor. I said, how do you do it? What part do you give to God? What part do you have for your pay? It's real simple. We take up the offering, then we throw all the money up in the air, and whatever God catches, God keeps. But the weirdest thing about church is something we call joys and concerns. Joys and concerns is the time you have just before you have prayer, and people get up and they say, okay, well, this is, something I'm happy about, I'm blessed about, and other people I'm concerned about, my toenails are getting weird and other stuff. They're praying about their Aunt Lucy's hair dye and things like that. And they go on and on and on. Well, Gracie and Mark had been away from church for a while, but they were there in church one day. Mark was a very quiet guy, but Gracie talked a lot. Gracie got up and she said, Pastor Brad, I have a joy and a concern. You see, Mark here had a bicycle accident and he fell and he broke his scrotum in 3 places. And every guy in the place was, it was terrible, Pastor. It was terrible. It was blood, and they had to put things together with wires and staples, and everybody, oh my gosh, what's going on with this? She went on, and I finally said, okay, Lars, Okay, Tracy. And then Mark stood up, and everybody got quiet as could be. He said, I want to thank Tracy for what she shared here, but the word she was looking for was sternum. Done? All right, thank you, Mike. All right, Brad, Dr. Brad Miller, everybody, one more time.
All right, our next comedian is coming to the stage right now. Host of Open Forum in the Villages, Florida. He is not good at remembering jokes, so today he's going to do some short form improv. Now a short warm up. Put your hands together for Mike Roth.
Thank you, everybody. I'm going to need a couple of volunteers. 3 volunteers. 1, 2, 3. Come on up. Okay. Look up to the stage. While they're coming up here, 2 blondes walk into a building. You would have thought one of them would have seen it. Now, we're going to play. Where are the other mics? Here's 1. We only got 3. I need 4.
We got 3.
We got 3, okay. So, speaking part to the center. Michael? All right. Okay. In this scene, Michael and I are going to a specific place. Audience, where are we going?
Strip club.
Where?
Disney World.
I go for strip club.
Strip club. Okay, we're going to run to the strip club. Okay, and when I say something that's going to require a sound effect, you're going to take the microphone and say this, make the sound. Say I shoot a gun. You're going to say, pew. And your name is? Robert. When Michael says something, you're going to have to make a sound.
I farted.
Very good. Okay. So you hold that for yours, and you keep that right up there by your mouth. We're in a strip club, right? Okay.
Daddy, why did we come to the strip club?
Well, because you want to see mommy at work.
I like that idea. Who are the other ladies?
Those are your mom's friends. Remember, they come over to play cards.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of bouncing. We gotta go to a bouncy house.
We can go to the bouncy house in a little bit, and yeah, it bounces a lot. Boing, boing, boing.
Oh, what's that guy doing with a gun, Daddy? Pew. He's got a pea shooter. Oh, the other guy's got a bigger gun. Boom. What's a cannon, Daddy? Can I get a cannon?
Yes, when you grow up, we'll get you a cannon.
Oh, boy. Can we get in the car now?
Sure, let's get out of here quickly.
Is that Santa Claus coming in with reindeer?
He does have a few ho-ho-hos with him.
Is this the mic? All right, well, none of us had that on our bucket list, huh? Wow, says PODFEST messenger. One more time for Mike Roth. All right, our next comedian from Jax, Florida.
Duval.
Host of Decision Diaries. Fun fact, this next comedian does not have a filter. Get ready for Lee Mayfield.
Hey everybody, this is my first time. I just want to let you all know that I've been married for 25 years, so as I tell this story, please judge my husband who's sitting right there. All right, so been married for 25 years, I'm 50 years old, and apparently I snore. I'm Italian, I got a big nose, so I snore. But this started becoming a big problem. So my husband said, you have to do something. You have to find the root cause. You have to find the solution. So, of course, I went to a sleep apnea clinic. I don't know how many people here snore, but we've all gone to these sleep clinics with doctors. And so I'm in front of the doctor. And I tell the doctor I must solve this problem if I want to stay married for the next 25 years. And he said, the root cause of your problem is, wait for it, my throat's too small. My throat's too small. Did everybody hear that? Okay. So now I have to call my husband to tell him that the root cause of my snoring is that my throat is okay? Okay? So I called my husband and I said, hey, I went to the doctor, a male doctor, and I felt like the test was a little inappropriate. But he was wearing a lab coat, so I took it. Because you told me I had to find the problem. And my husband was like, So, he believes he has a solution to my snoring. He believes we need to do some things to fix the throat problem. And I just want to say one thing, I've been married to him for 25 years. And before I married him, I was in college. I did not have a snoring problem. Thank you very much. I'm Lynn Layfield. This is the Diary. Please follow my podcast.
Keep it going for Lynn Layfield. Come on. How relatable was that? My wife totally has a small throat also. It's running rampant. All right. Your next comedian from Melbourne, Florida, host of Cactus Cat Creations. Put your hands together for Tragedy Faye.
Well, it is so nice to see you all out here. I'm just going to say, I have no idea what I'm going to say. But I did ask my friend, I said, you know what, I'm trying to learn different accents. And of course, you know, that wasn't my original voice. So I said, what kind of accents can I do? And, well, of course, who likes vampires here, right? Woo! Right?
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Because I've been around for quite some time. And that's not really funny, is it? She's kind of a little mean.
And so I decided, well, I'm going to try something else. I love Monty Python. Was anybody else here? Oh, yeah. Right, exactly. So I decided, well, all right, then I'm just going to do a British accent. But I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. And so we're driving down the road, and I was just like, can't you believe that man just cut us off? She starts laughing, and I said, well, maybe this is something. And as we go on, and I'm trying to talk, and I'm going around like that, and I said, well, I could do a Monty Python skit, maybe. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen, because I'm far too nervous. But then I can do, like, my southern girl, and she's a little bit better there, so she's a little bit calmer, she's a little bit sweeter, and she just starts to take things really slow. But I would like to thank you for your time very much.
One more time for Tragedy Faye. Come on. Hang on a second. You guys having a good time? Yeah. Having a good time? All right. Lynn, I've been married for 25 years also.
Is your wife snore?
Thank you. Thank you. Don't even start. My wife comes home the other day, She wants to spice things up, so she comes home the other day with a porno, and she says, "Hey Jeff, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna watch the porno, and then we're gonna do whatever they do in the porno." And I'm like, so we're watching the porno, I'm getting really into it, and I'm like, oh man, she is hot. And my wife's getting into it, and she's like, yeah, she is hot. And I'm like, wow, she's got an amazing job. You ever think about working again? That's it. That joke ends pretty quick. What can I tell you? I'm married. I've got 2 girls. I think one of the greatest moments ever was witnessing the birth of my first child. I remember like it was yesterday. We started heading to the hospital, and my wife's water breaks in the car, and she's freaking out. She's just freaking out. She's like, "We're never gonna make it! We're never gonna make it!" Finally, I turn to her and I say, "Honey, then drive faster." She is freaking out the whole time. Can't blame her. Here she is about to push 7 pounds out of her vagina, and I know damn well no more than 2 pounds have ever gone in. My wife says 1 pound, but I'm telling you that scale said 2. Not that you can trust a produce scale. One thing I don't understand to this day is why women complain so much about childbirth. You get to lay down the whole time. It's always, oh, the pain, get drugs. How would I have been standing for 12 hours? I bet someone fetched me a chair. It's not easy standing there. You got every doctor and nurse in the hospital coming in, checking your wife's dilation. So one guy's examining my wife. He says, "Mrs. Dwoskin, you're about 2 centimeters. And then he turns and he winks at me. And he says, "You're a very lucky man." And I'm like, "Weren't you just in the hallway pushing the snack cart?" Can I get security in here? And before you take away the man that touched my wife, can I get a cupcake? Next thing I remember the doctor saying the word episiotomy, which I later learned is Latin for your wife's not going to want to have sex with you for a very long time. It's ironic, the one thing that got you there, it's the first thing they take away. In the end, it's all worth it. Baby gets showered with gifts. Wife even got flowers from the snack cart guy. Cool. My wife's mad at me because I'm here and she's in Michigan and it's freezing in Michigan. And so we got into a big fight when I was leaving for Orlando, the place of dreams. And it's one of those things where I know the fight really wasn't about this. She was upset because we just had to put her mom at the hospice, so she was really upset, and anyway, she was really upset. Mostly because her mom is perfectly healthy. Didn't want to be a burden. She isn't a burden anymore. I'm kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke. I love my mother-in-law. How else would I know my phone works? I was trying to have sex with my wife last week. I don't try it too hard. I was like, honey, can we have sex? And she was like, well, there's been a rough day and I'm feeling kind of grumpy. And I'm like, so close, so close. Like, you know what I'm talking about. And the next day I'm like, well, how about tonight? And she's like, well, it's kind of late, I'm kind of sleepy. I'm like, so close, I can almost touch it. The next day I'm like, how about tonight? And she's like, well, tomorrow I got an appointment with the doc. And I'm like, grumpy, sleepy doc, are you just naming dwarves? We're not even trying. She's like, hi-ho, hi-ho. Took the family to Disney World last year. Let me say, if you love your family and you're getting along great, do not go to Disney World. There's something about expensive fun that just pushes people over the edge. 1 minute you're like, oh my God, there's Mickey Mouse. And the next second you're like, get the goddamn teacup! And there's nothing worse when your kid is flipping out in front of 50,000 other people. Nothing worse in the world. But you know there's nothing better than watching someone else's kid flipping out in front of 50,000 other people. There's nothing better to watch in the world. There is that, and then a sunset. Worst part about Disney World is all the lines. It's all the lines. They're always in a line. Always in a line. We're in this one line, 45 minutes. 45 minutes. This line is not moving. And finally, this woman, this gorgeous woman, she couldn't wait any longer, starts nursing her child right there. Right there. No cover-up. No cover-up. And I am staring at her. And I am thinking to myself, you've got to be kidding me. Now the line starts to move. Thank you very much. Thumbs up, philosophy. Our next comedian that's going to take us through the next block is Jen Hardy. Come on!
Hey everybody, I may have seen one or two of you over the last few days at PODFEST. If you have not heard from me, I'm Jen Hardy, and my husband and I are co-coordinators for the volunteers, and we love you all so very much, and we're so glad to be here. I have got a very exciting first person who would like me to let you know that not everyone will be telling jokes. So she's a very interesting person. Her name is Dr. Lulu. She was born, bred, buttered, and slightly burned in Nigeria. She's an agitator of the governor of Texas, representing the one real west coast of Africa. But wait, there's more. She is a real doctor, and she plays one on TV. Also, forever a lieutenant colonel and commander in the U.S. Air Force, mom of 3, sexy at 55, Dr. Lulu!
How many of us here are parents? Show of hands. Ah, nice. Have any of you ever found yourself negotiating with God about something to do with your kids? Or is it just me? Tomorrow is Sunday, be honest. For those of you who heard my Preacher Kucha talk about unlearning and affirming and becoming a fearless mama beast of my transgender young adult, what y'all didn't hear were the details of the conversation that I had with God. Because I kind of told y'all that. So what happened was, as my child was growing older and older, I began to notice some effeminate traits. And I knew instinctively that something was amiss. Me. So God, I know you got jokes, but please don't make Mikey gay. You know we Nigerians, you know how homophobic we is. God, to the angels, should I break it down to her? Angels, nah, not yet. You see, while I was filled with worryation about my kid being simply gay, God knew she was much more. But I wouldn't stop agitating and fussing and asking God, why me? Why me? Finally, snatching my edges, God said, why not you? Why do you think I made you talkative in grade school? Why do you think I made you become a pediatrician? Why do you think I gave you the ability to connect with your audience on your podcast called, what again? I said, Moms for Trans Kids. And if not you, then who? Who would be a more appropriate person to agitate governors on behalf of your kid? And I was like, well, I mean, if you put it that, yes, I put it that way. And that's the only way it's gonna be. I'm like, okay. And God says, because I know you won't survive in the belly of the fish. I was like, yes, Father, I'll do whatever you... Good. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to go to the highways and the byways and tell everyone about me and my love for all my children. Tell them I created each and every one of them in my likeness. The gays, the straights, the trans, the neurodivergents, the able-bodies, the otherwise, and yes, even mediocre Chad and Karen. If you accept this mission, I will send you helpers along the way. I'm like, all right then, I'll do it. Good. So to that end, my name is Dr. Lulu. My podcast is Mom's 4 Trans Kids, the number 4. And here's where y'all come in. My Instagram is at Dr. Lulu Talk Radio. Listen, God said I should tell y'all. My YouTube is at Dr. Lulu Talk Radio. So y'all bring out your phones. Follow a sister, will you? God already called y'all angels. Thank you very much.
What? The next person I'm going to call up is a friend of mine, although I consider all of you friends of mine because we're all pod fam now. Natalie Guzman is the host of the Virtual Antics and Entrepreneurial Podcast. She has an amazing VA company as well, if you're interested in that sort of thing. Natalie lives out of prison, that is true, and also has never done comedy, but she can't resist a good stage. Welcome her to her first comedy.
Guys, oh man, I'm so excited to be here. So Lynn, Jeff, 25 years of marriage, man, I don't know how y'all did it. But actually, listening from your set, I do small throats and pornos, right? So anyways, I've been married for 7 years now. And yeah, thank you. Applause, please. Thank you. So I need all applause I can get because, man, we're at that 7-year mark and we need all applause we can get for not killing each other by now. So anyways, my husband's Puerto Rican and what I've learned from him and his family is that the secret to a happy marriage is putting adobo in absolutely everything. So I realized this when I was watching my father-in-law cook. He was putting it in the meat, the rice. I think he even put it in some of our dessert. So, like the 150% white person I am, the next day I went and I got a bottle of adobo and I put it in our eggs. Man, that stuff is like magic. He asked for seconds and thirds. It was like he was walking on sunshine. You know, he even did the dishes. Yeah, that's just magic, man. You know, so I started to test it out. I started putting it in our coffee. I started putting it in every single meal, breakfast sandwiches, desserts, everything I could. And it worked. And then I was like, wait, my kids are 50% Puerto Rican. And I was like, maybe it will work on them. Sure enough, it did. They were doing chores, they were helping out, and man, it was good. But I wasn't really sure that was gonna work on my son. So, you see, my child, even though he's half Puerto Rican, well, let's just say my mother-in-law was questioning if he came from the milkman when he was born. Yeah, that's right, that kid's skin was as white as a jug of milk and the blondest hair and bluest eyes you have ever seen. We probably didn't help the situation though when we named him Theodore. But my daughter, on the other hand, man, she's as Puerto Rican as can be. She's got the dark skin, the dark hair, the dark eyes, and her name's Mianette. So everyone always says that me and Mianette are twins, like we look so much alike, except she's got that beautiful bronze skin, and I'm looking like the before picture in a spray tan ad. Thank you guys.
Give her another round of applause. That was an amazing first set. Thank you, Natalie. And speaking of parties, we are having a party at 8:30. We're going to have a 90s party. I mean, look at this, you guys. Come on. You got to, dress up, do the thing, join us. It's going to be amazing. And to celebrate that, we've got a man. Are you ready? You got to be careful for this guy because he used to joust and sword fight for a living. Michael Neely is the host of 6 podcasts and founder of the Podcasters Cruise. Like to hear more about that? Michael Neely.
Thank you. Is everybody having a good time? I was reading an article a while back, and it was talking about the pitfalls of drinking alcohol, especially as you get older. It was saying like you too much drinking, it can cause ED. You know, some of you guys experiencing that. It can cause high blood pressure. It could cause early onset of dementia. I'm reading this article and I'm like, all right, that's it. I quit. And it's now been a year and 17 days since I've read anything. No more of that reading. I love to travel. I was recently in Scotland, and when I travel, I like to go into some of the local places, and I go into this cool looking old pub, and I walk inside and I see an old guy sitting there at the bar and some other guys down at the other end, and I pull up a seat next to the guy at the bar and order up a beer, and sitting there for a minute, just, enjoying it, and all of a sudden he gives me a nudge and he goes, "Hey, you see that barn outside before you walked in? That barn, it's 3 stories high. It's the best damn barn in all of Scotland. I built that barn with my own 2 hands. But do you think they call me McGregor the barn maker? No!" And he goes back to the drink, and I slide a little bit away from him, and notice the guys down at the other end of the bar kind of chuckling and pointing at him a little bit. And another minute passes, and he goes, "Hey, you see that pier out there? That pier goes straight out into the middle of the loch. 1/4 mile long that pier is. I built that pier with my own 2 hands. But do you think they call me McGregor the pier maker? No!" Takes another bit of his drink, and I slide a little further away. Another minute passes, and he goes, "Hey, you see this bar you're sitting at here? This bar has 7 layers of shellac on it. You can see your reflection in it. I built this bar with my own 2 hands. But do you think they call me McGregor the bar maker? No! But you fuck one goat." All right, well, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I'm going to leave you guys with that. I hope you have a good time.
All right, and how do you follow that? Well, with the guy from where the show Ozark was filmed, podcasting for 10 years, host of Business Uncensored, Fat Conor McGregor, which is ironic, Ryan Shear.
Yeah, that was like totally unplanned, by the way. And also, you ruined it because I'm sitting here writing. I'm like, am I going to be the first person to say fuck up here? So I'm going to make up for everybody else that came before me. I'm going to take their fucks and I'm going to say it during mine. I couldn't let that slide. I went to the school of Carlin when I started doing comedy, right? So we got to be able to make fun of ourselves. So this is what this 3 minutes are going to be, so buckle the fuck up, right?
Yeah.
How are you introverts doing? Holy shit! Like, I'm an extrovert and I'm tired of hearing myself fucking talk. I'm going to go home and apologize to my wife real fucking quick, right? I am sorry. I never shut up. I get it. I'm tired of hearing myself, right? But I come to PODFEST, so you got to understand, I was a stand-up comedian, toured for 8 years, and then I had a podcast, it popped off, I started doing the marketing, loved the marketing, went to marketing, stayed in marketing for a decade, and then recently we opened a company and came back to podcasting. So this is about the 100th convention I've been to between marketing and insurance or whatever. So the PODFEST has been amazing, but holy shit, is this the look what I can do fest, right? Like, you hear about narcissism and stuff, but holy shit, guys, come on. Did the little round table thing, right? Did the little round table thing, right? And they said, okay, just read these 3 words. Like, read this little sentence, right? And then answer the question. So it'd be like, "Hi, I'm Ryan, I'm from Missouri, and this is my favorite piece of equipment." And the next person would be like, "Hi, I'm Kate from Wisconsin, and my podcast is about this, and I have 7 kids, and I have this, and whatever." And they're like, "You got 30 seconds left to answer the fucking question. Come on, let's go. Right?" And in the hallways, it's like, how many people attended tracks? Let me see a raise of hands that attended tracks, right? I can't raise my hand, I didn't go to a fucking one. I walked to Walgreens, kept buying wine, stuck it in my bag, and talked to all of you until you fucking ate. Right? Because that's how you use a conference, if you're just wondering, right? After 10 years of comedy and talking and business, that's what you do. But we will be back next year. This is our first year in podcasting. This is our first year to do. I have enjoyed it immensely. So please, stay what you're doing, even though it's egotistical, even though it's narcissistic, even though you love the sound of your own voice and a lot of us can't stand you, fucking keep it up. That's all I got.
Next up, we have Tammy Barber. Her podcast is Sideline Legends, and she is an NFL pro cheerleader.
Hello. So you all heard there was a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader here, right? Oh, she is a hot mess. They're all really tall, really big boobs, sleep with all the players. No. But what I wanted to tell you is that there is a world outside of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not sure what it is. When you're trying out, you have to sign a contract before you make it. And you don't care. Yeah, you'd have my firstborn. You'd have this, you'd have that, you'd have this, you'd have that. And for the next 10 years, you can't do anything else. I'm in! And then you're there. And then the team sucks. And then Jerry Jones buys him. You know, he looks like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. Yeah, okay. You hate him, you love him. And then you find out, oh, for 10 years I can't do anything else? That's okay, I'm so sick of football. But anyway, I'm not going to take a bunch of time because I have no idea. Kimbrough made me do this. I have no idea why I'm here. And all I wanted to say is my next podcast is called Sideline Legends. It's all about the National Football cheerleaders, alumni, our words, for real. No, I've never been pregnant. I didn't sleep with any of the players and anything else that you've all heard. So listen, please.
Oh my gosh, if I only had that much energy. And I am so tired. You know, my mom always said that glitter was the herpes of the craft world. Man, you can never get rid of that crap. And she didn't like a lot of feminine, girly stuff, so I was always not feminine and girly. And I was kind of taught that that wasn't really cool because she was training me to be the boy that she didn't have. And so I grew up not liking this sort of thing and thinking it was really stupid. And then I came to PODFEST last year and I started talking about changing my brand. And I talked to a bunch of you about being over 50. Raise your hand if you are over 50. Woo! Dude, look at how many of us there are. And you know what I realized? Glitter covers the wrinkles. And since that crap never goes away, we can erase that. So now I'm all about the glitter and all about the bling and all about being over 50 because what is the alternative?
Hello.
Right? I don't want the alternative. So I am so happy to be with you guys. And you know, a lot of people judge us because we're older and they're like, oh, we actually had somebody come to the house last week and tell me, since I've been podcasting for the last 8 years, we have a media company. And she goes, well, you know, honey, I know tech because I'm Gen Z. And I was like, okay, honey, I don't think you know what's in my office back there, but I could probably teach you a thing or two. But you know, I think a lot of people don't respect us because they don't know what we went through. They don't know that our parents had to watch a commercial at 10 o'clock to remind them to bring us in the house. Right? They literally forgot we existed. So your parents may have said, come in when the lights go on, but they didn't check. We didn't have a freaking water bottle. My kids, I need a water bottle. You're not going to dehydrate. We had water, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you were lucky, right? We didn't have anything. You went outside and you got something at the hose pipe. Right? Well, depending on where in the country you are, it was the faucet, it was the hose pipe, it was whatever. We didn't have car seats. Are you kidding me right now? You know what my seatbelt was? I still have a burn on my wrist because it was my dad's arm. And I still remember driving in that, he had the big Lincoln, man, it was a freaking boat. And I was way on the other side. And my dad knew he was stopping fast, so he was not only driving, but he was flinging himself over with the cigarette in his hand. And I just want you to know that he saved my life that day. But it was also pretty good. So the next time somebody that was born, I don't know, in the 90s or later, looks at somebody my age or older and thinks, oh, you don't know what the hell you're doing. I just want to let you know we've been through a lot just to freaking survive to this moment. And I want to thank you all so much for being so supportive and so wonderful. You guys are absolutely amazing. I absolutely encourage you next year to volunteer. Because we love you all at PODFEST. Another round of applause for our volunteers. You guys are wonderful. And for the staff, I know we got staff in here. If you guys have had a good time at PODFEST, can you put your hands together and give a cheer and let them know? Because they are such an amazing team. I just want to thank you all so much. And I also want to look at my notes because it's been a really long day and I want to make sure there's nothing that I wanted to tell you, and there isn't. And so I remembered it all. And I just want to say that I'm over 50. I remembered my whole thing. And on that note, I'm going to pass this off to the amazing Kimbrough, who's not listening, so we can talk about him now. Or Bob. Bob is listening, and Bob will be joining us now. The amazing Bob. And I have nothing to say about him, but he's amazing.
Give it up again, let her hear it. Give it up for all the comics so far. This is not easy. All right, ready for some more? You ready? Ready? All right. This next comic coming to stage, originally from Orlando, now residing in Atlanta, Georgia. A healthcare worker by night and a podcaster of Scrubs Unzipped by day. Known as the healthcare heroine, welcome to the stage, Anne-Marie Ware. Let her hear it.
Hello. I signed up blindly because I thought it was an open mic for singing, so I guess I'll have to let it go. Let it go. I have my hair, and everyone has been complimenting me about my hair, and I just love the compliments. But I've had my hair for 7 years. And I've been locked for 7 years, and it's the longest relationship I've ever had. And sometimes when I get older, I'm gonna be 32, and I've learned that traveling is so important to expand your horizons. And I actually went to Germany, and I went on the train, and I actually went the opposite direction of where I was supposed to go because no one spoke English. And it was just a humiliating experience because it was 2 hours long, and I had to go to the train for 2 hours, so I spent 4 hours on the train. And since I'm getting older, I just realized that adulting sucks. Like, adulting sucks so bad. Like, inflation is high. A gallon of milk costs $5. But I'm supposed to be an adult. But my mother is my roommate, and she still makes me you know that my podcast is called Scrubs Unzipped, and y'all minds are in the gutter. It's unzipping the lives of healthcare workers, and I work in healthcare because job security. Thank you so much.
All right, this next comic coming to the stage has a podcast called 3 Questions with Corey Kareem. Just learned to salsa dance. Please give it up for Corey. Let's hear it.
Damn, it's hot up here. This is kind of feeling like when you go to like Six Flags, get really ambitious about going on a ride, you're like, what the fuck did I do this time? Oh, so what he didn't mention, because I didn't write it on the cue card, is I am from Canada. Anyone ever been to Toronto, Canada before? All right, well, I work for a very popular tech company that most of you guys are pretty familiar with. It's a very inclusive company, so they like to play a lot of games to make everyone feel welcome, right? Strong company culture. So one of my colleagues, I should mention, I'm like one of the only guys that kind of look like me in my department. So they decided to play a game. Guess whose baby picture this is? I think you guys know where this is going, right? So, you know, the pictures start popping up on the screen just like this. And then, if you guys don't know anything about Canadian culture, we're very polite. Very kind, polite people. So my baby picture comes up on there, right? And everyone knows it's me, but they're like, this is so tough. I think that might be Dean. No, Dean's Middle Eastern, right? So like, it's not Dean, but like, you know, so I was like, guys, really? We couldn't think about a better game, right? A better game to play, but anyways, right? First world problems, as they say. So, like I mentioned, I'm from Canada, Toronto, Ontario, Jamaican born, by the way. So, I want to teach you guys, because most of y'all are Americans, but I want to teach y'all some Canadian etiquette, right? Because every now and then, we run into these kind of weird scenarios. So, I'll meet somebody from wherever in the States, and they'll say, oh, you're from Canada? Yes, I am. Oh, I got a cousin in Ontario. His name is Dave. Do you know him? Come on, think about that, really? Like, you know? Or, you're from Canada. It's cold up there, isn't it? Yes, but it's also cold in Chicago and Detroit. Same thing, right? Another thing I want to ask you guys, actually, how many people in here are speakers, like speak for a living, professional? Right, okay. So I met this speaker once, and he says, hey, I have my first international speaking gig. I was like, weird, in Toronto. I was like, bruh, technically, yes, that's international, but like, that's like calling Northern Virginia the South. Like, I mean, yeah, you know, that's what it is. But another thing I want to say. Where are my people? Anyone here from like Buffalo, New York?
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Corey, everybody.
Oh, my time's up.
Get up for Corey. I'm sorry, we have to end at midnight, so we got to keep this going. All right, this next comic comes to stage from New Orleans, Louisiana, which is the only one I know. Voice actor, Darkness Falls, Yokai Detectives. Please give it up for Adrian Chugs Acevedo Flores.
This was planned. Hi, how's it going? Well, my friends call me Chugs. Didn't really think that far ahead other than the whole thing, paper thing. But I work in a movie theater on that's my day job, I'm an usher. You know, I just sort of smile at the fun and go, welcome to the Regal Grand Theater. I do that for hours. Yeah, kind of weighs in on you. But you know, I get to watch a lot of free movies and such. My boss, great guy. He comes up to me and he quizzes me every day on a movie that I've never seen. How many of you have seen Smokey and the Bandit? Yeah, great film. Never seen it. So here's what I think it's about based on what my boss tells me. So there's this guy, Smokey. He rides in a car. And his boss tells him, go get beer. And he's like, okay. And he picks up a lady. And there's this other who's apparently the fiance of the son of this cop named Buford T. Justice. That's how my boss says it. Pokes me aggressively. I have bruises. So like all the time he goes on, and I'm sure, and then he goes on this thing, they're chasing him down, and apparently there's this little fact about the movie where like the wind was blowing so hard that the cop's hat would fly off, so his son would have to hold it down on his head, and that just was in the movie, apparently. Yeah. So true story. So aside from working in a movie theater, I also was an actor for movies and TVs. And by actor, I mean I found this ad on the internet that says, "Hey, you want to be an actor for $200?" I was on this, and I was playing a high schooler. I know, he's so young and youthful, we were in this high school shoot for like a couple hours, like through the night, and almost like the peak of sunshine right there in the distance. The director was like was recording everything in this lunchroom scene, and I'm like trying to keep myself awake. He says, "Cut!" and then calls up a PA, forgot about the mic, and he calls up one of the PAs to pull me aside. I'm 19 at the time, by the way, and he pulls me aside, hands me an espresso bean and a shot glass, and he says, "Drink this and eat that." And I'm like the little baby actor, okay, and I just oh. I'm like freaking Wile E. Coyote in there. Anyway, this gentlemen. All
right, give it up for Chugs. We are going to. You gonna be able to get up? Okay, we got it worked out. All right, take this. All right, this next comic coming to the stage. She is a podcast hoster. She just did her first podcast of her first podcast called Second Chances with Kathy on everything. She's a heart transplant survivor, thriver, and she has a full-time tech job, which she loves, but she wants to build her brand and everything with it. Please give it up for Kathy Augustine.
I need to see how many people were in the room. But have you guys ever heard from a dead person before, or met a dead person? Yes. Okay, well, a few of you. But I actually died in 2017 at the hospital. Yes. Why am I still here? Because the doctors are amazing. If they get told that you died, because my parents had to go find them when my alarm went off and I died. But anyways. Now you guys all have sixth sense, like that movie. Dead people. And how am I still here? It's because I had 2 open heart surgeries before I was 30. And now let me introduce myself. I'm Kathy, like Bob said. And that's funny, he's Bob, because my brother and my dad and my grandfather are all Bobs, so shout out to Bobs. But yeah. I had a heart transplant 5.5 years ago, so that's what my topic is going to be about. And what does that mean? It means a stranger gave me their heart, and it's beating inside of my chest. Wow. Which is kind of crazy if you think about it. I still think that's crazy, and I've lived with it. But please don't feel bad for me, for my heart or my foot, because I am still here and I'm living every day gratefully. Nice. But also, I have some funny comedy because of that too. Maybe, we'll see. And don't say break a leg, because I will literally probably break a leg. So yeah. And because of my foot, it's my foot that's the problem. So I actually had to go to a podiatrist and they injected steroids in my foot. So anybody that's over 50, I had what you had. I had hot flashes the other day. So that was fun. It's like, why is it so hot? My mom and my grandmother didn't notice. It was because I had hot flashes from my foot. So that's always interesting. So if guys want to find out what hot flashes feel like, just go get a cortisone shot. Maybe you'll feel them. Sorry. I wrote it all down instead of using my phone, so I'm not sure why. I guess I'm in the middle generation there. But I think that manifesting has been hurt. Like you guys have all heard about manifesting this weekend, right? Well, I noticed there's a lot of talk about it in energy, and what I believe in that stuff. I know some people think it's crazy, but I always wonder to the universe and God, why was I put in this situation? Why did I have a heart surgery? And let me tell you what I've come up with. My heart was not in teaching when I graduated from college and I went into teaching. I was teaching kindergartners when this all happened, and my heart wasn't in it. So I literally got a way out without I just had to go to a hospital, die, get an LVAD, which is a left ventricle assist device. I talk more about that, but I'm probably out of time. And so, anyways, I want to do an experiment with you. Since you guys have all been sitting for a while, stand up if you are an organ donor. Yay! Claps to you guys! Stand up if you are alive and feel your heartbeat, because when I had an LVAD, I didn't have a heartbeat. I was part robot. Wow. So yeah.
Check out her podcast. Check out her podcast. All right, next comment coming to the stage. Oh my God, America's Got Talent, Saturday Night Live, SNL for some of you. The only actress in New York not to be on Law and Order. Please give it up for Elaine Williams.
Run. How you guys doing? Can we clap for the introverts again? Oh my God. I'm an extrovert and I'm exhausted, so God bless you guys that you're still here. Anybody here aunt or uncle? It's fun, but it's expensive, right? Oh my God, last year I spent so much money on my brother's kids' gifts, and you know what I got in return? Yeah, a picture of them in the bathtub. So next year I'm giving them a picture of me on the toilet. You can all steal it. So we have parents in the house. Anybody? You're too tired to raise your hand, right? Oh my God, I don't know how you guys, there's so much to navigate. I could not have kids because I have white carpet. And a white couch, and a whole lot of white birth control pills. No kids for me, at least none that I know of. Because I used to drink a lot. But I am an aunt, which is really fun. Except I learned the other day when I was babysitting that kids don't like to be tied up. So I'm sober 23 years. I miss it sometimes. Like the other day I was reading that teenagers take tampons and soak them in vodka and stick them up their butts to get drunk. I know. And I was like, well, would that count as a drink for me? And people always ask me, like, Elaine, do you feel weird around alcohol, like when you're working in a comedy club or like a restaurant? I'm like, I feel awkward, probably like how Kim Kardashian must feel around books. I'm just kidding, she's brilliant and very rich. So I come from a crazy family. My father was a dentist, so he wouldn't let us eat candy. We could snort it, we just couldn't eat it. Some of you will get that later on. And my stepmother drank a lot, and she did not like our pets. Like, I remember coming home from school day, and I was like, hey, what happened to Tippy? She was like, I don't know, someone must have left the gate open. But Tippy was a goldfish. Thank you, I want to take you guys home with me. So So dating in New York is really weird. You know, one guy was like, I want a maid in the living room, a cook in the kitchen, and a whore in the bedroom. And I was like, I can't cook. Anyway, my name's Elaine Williams. Thank you so much for having
All right, give it up for Elaine. Let her hear it. Let her hear it. God, we can keep it going. Normally at a club we would have drinks. We'd all be drunk, and it would be even funnier. But like, I don't know about you. No, I mean, I'm loving it. But it's. Have you got who loves tipping? Like the tipping stuff, is it sort of getting a little out of control, right? You know, right? It's getting crazy. Like, it's fine to give for a drink or for your masseuse or somebody that makes you happy, right? But like, everybody is just looking for a tip these days, and it's freaking crazy. Like, I signed up with Uber because originally it was tip optional, right? And you could just like, you didn't have to talk about everything. And so I'm super cheap, but I don't want to appear that way, so I always over tip, right? Because fuck, I could have done $2 less, but anyway, I'm with Uber, and now, if you don't tip, Alberto sent you a text. He sent you an email. Did you want to tip Alberto? No. No, I don't want to tip Alberto. Right? But the thing is, if I don't say, yeah, sure, fuck Alberto, yeah, I'd love to, he's going to tell us friends, because now Uber people, they rate the riders. Right? So now, Bob's a shitty tipper, Bob's a shitty rider, nobody's going to pick me up, so I fucking have to tip Alberto. Right? And everybody knows your business. Everybody knows your business. If you pay him by Venmo, like, everybody's like, you didn't pay Alberto. Like, what the fuck, right? They see in the app what you're doing. It's fucking crazy. It's out of control. The other day I was at the post office. I was sending off a package. I was just waiting for the receipt and all that stuff. I'm standing there, and the clerk just slowly slides this large glass tip jar to the center of the counter. And I do what I normally do. I just tried to ignore her, right? I'm just like, She just leaned forward and she said, I hope your package gets there. Fuck, I gave her $5. Are you fucking kidding me? I was at the doctor's office, and I was getting my physical, and the doctor was like doing the blood work, doing all those things, and as he was signing the paperwork, he walked out, he flashed his smartphone with a QR code. He's like, did you want to leave a tip? And I was like, you had the tip in your hand 5 minutes ago, you didn't seem to know what to do with it. But I gave him $5 for the finger. He was gentle, right? He said he'd call. Where are my pet lovers? Where are my pet lovers? Who's I love pets. I'm a crazy guy. I live in West LA, but I've got like dogs and cats and ducks and chickens, and it's a small farm. My neighbors think I'm crazy. But here's the hardest thing I think about having a pet. Back me up, pet lovers. The hardest thing about having a pet value day. Pet value day, you know, the day you find out your pet needs medical attention. And you have to find out how much it costs before you determine your pet no longer has value. Look, and I draw the line at $300. No, actually, Capital One draws the line at $300. That's not happening. No, so found out my cat had to have surgery. Love my cat. I took my cat in. Ben took a look, and he's like, that's going to be $350. I was like, shit. Can you just do an adequate job? She doesn't need her leg. No, I splurged. I love my cat. But the vet comes back to me 2 days later and says, Bob, due to complications in surgery, it's going to be in the neighborhood of $4,000 to save your cat. No. Yeah. I told him I don't think my cat wants to live in that neighborhood. Brought her home, put her on the couch, looked at her thinking, dead cat walking. No, she's fine. I had her stuffed. Forever young. Probably a good thing they don't have kid value days, right? How much is Billy's kidney transplant? Week. Oh my God. So I have grocery store issues. Anybody else? Just me? Okay, usually is just me. Like, here's the thing. I don't mind the shopping part where you go in and put it in the basket. Like, I want that. I want. So when you get up to the conveyor belt and they start judging you, and they're like, like, you don't know me. Shut up, right? And you got to be so careful. I'm real. Like, I don't like that kind of stuff. You know. So if I need to buy something embarrassing, I'll buy like 82 items so that I can distract them with the pile. Like the suppositories are for me, right? You know. It's like whatever it is, right? Or, you know, like you can't just buy a couple of things because people are looking, right? You can't get the Vaseline and the bananas because you're like, no, that's free, right? And some people are so confident, right? Some people, they'll just walk in, a guy will be like, 3-pack of condoms, I'll be fucking tonight. And they're like, yes, you will be, right? They just ring them up, you know. I gotta bury it, hide it, and they're like, who are these for? I'm gonna put them back. But here's the thing, like, and then people in the line, they just think that, like, they just think they can be your friend and stuff. I'm standing there, all I had was a 50-pound bucket of kitty litter. Guy behind me slaps me on the back, and he's like, you got a cat! I'm like, no, I have shitting issues, asshole. I like sand in my toes when I poop, okay? Fuck off. No, here's the thing that drives me crazy though, like you're standing in that 15 items or less lane, right? 15 items or less, and the guy in front of you has 22 fucking items, right? And the reason I know this is because I silently counted it like 10 times. And I'm like, right, but I don't say anything because that would be rude and I'm passive aggressive. So I turn to the guy behind me, I'm like, can you believe that fucking asshole has 22 items? And then I leave. All right, I'll leave you there. This just happened. I switched doctors because, you know, like, it was too much. I switched doctors, and here's the thing. This, like, man, the industry has changed. Like, they don't have nurses anymore. They have those, but they have this thing like the doctor's assistant, who's, like, not quite a doctor, but he does some, he or she does some of the stuff. So I go to the doctors, and this woman comes in, and she's like, hi, I'm Stephanie. I'm the doctor's assistant. I'm like, great, brand new. I've never been here before. I met her like 30 seconds. And she's like, oh, okay, you're in for physical. Yep. And oh, okay, okay, great. All right, well, we're gonna do a digital exam. Drop your pants. I'm like, it's 2 minutes in. She's like, drop your pants. I do, I drop my pants. She's like, take your hands and just sort of spread your cheeks open. Spread your cheeks open. I'm like, okay. And then she's like, oh, this is good. This is good. And then she starts circling my butthole, right? And I'm like, it's good in what way? Like photography? Like you're an expert on assholes? And I'm really good at it. Like, what the fuck? Get your face. And then she just takes this liquid and and then she's like, I'm going in. And she just goes right in like she's trying to get a whole fucking jar of cookies. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know? Pulls out wipes from the napkin and she was like, it was so nice to meet you. What the fuck? It's not even 5 minutes. Anyway, here's the thing, like, you know, I'm just trying to think, you know, like, I expect my doctor to finger me once or twice a year, right? But if it's anybody less than a doctor, is that assault? No. You know what I'm saying? But like, and then I thought about it because I felt a little bit violated. I'm going to be vulnerable here. It was like, a couple days later, I'm like, I feel like I was just finger raped, right? But I know that I can't go report it because the police are going to be like, what were you wearing? I'm like, well, I had my pants down around my ankles. And they're like, well, what were you doing? Well, I had my butt stroked. You deserve it! You were asking for it! That's it. That's my time. All right, you guys ready? We just got a few more comments. You guys gonna hang in there?
Yeah!
Let's do this. This next guy coming to stage, he does cruise ships. He tours the country. He's a headliner. You're gonna love him. Please give it up for Pod Brother Kimbrough.
Keep that going for Bob, everybody. Give it up for Bob! Wheeler and all the comedians here tonight. All right, this is your last block. I'm gonna bring it home. I guarantee you guys are gonna have a blast on this one. And thanks for hanging in there, you guys. This is gonna be a lot of fun. So our first open micer coming to the stage. This is her first time ever doing open mic. She is the Naked Human Podcast, 100% naked. She's from the Upper Peninsula of New York. Her spirit animal is the wolf. Actually, she doesn't do her podcast 100% naked. 10% of the time she wears her shoes. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Carrie.
Thank you. He was actually incorrect. I live in Michigan, so yes, I do my podcast in the nude. Talk about nudity and actually, you know what? Before I go any forward here, I am so nervous. This, yeah, this is, yeah, come on. This was my first time on stage with my clothes on. So, I live in a cabin in the woods in the middle of nowhere. which makes it really great for being naked, talking to my cats, and getting murdered. So I'm a single woman, also a nudist, which makes my dating life kind of complicated because when I meet men who want to go on dates with me, they assume I'm going to show up naked. And I do. They also think because I'm naked, sex is on the table.
Yes.
Because it is. Yeah, and recently, they're very curious and assume that I have an OnlyFans, which I do. So recently I went on this date with this guy. I showed up naked. Sex was on the table until the waiter showed up. I find when you're a nudist, you're naked, it's really difficult for people to make eye contact. But I guess they don't have training for that at the DMV. And that's my set.
Everybody play. That was awesome. Our next open micer is he's the founder of Couple of Nukes podcast. He is a dog dad, author, MLF. MILF. A MILF. It was a MILF slayer, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Mr. Whiskey, everybody.
All right, howdy everyone. I'm Mr. Whiskey. I'm going to be talking pretty fast because I only got 3 minutes here. And I finally understand why my ex always said that wasn't a long time, so I'm sorry to hurt. Yeah, so this is my first time doing open mic comedy. Usually I sit at home and I record behind the mic, and I love it because I'm blissfully ignorant. I'm sitting there laughing at everything. And I've actually trained my dog. She podcasts with me. And every time I tell a joke and I laugh at it my own self, she'll do this little bark giggle because I throw her a treat. And I don't blame her because if I went to a comedy show and the guy was throwing out food every time someone laughed, I'd be the joker all night long. Hell, I might go home and let him knock all my boots if he throws in a glass of wine, so yeah. Just a show of hands, I want to know, who here thinks I'm from the South and the West?
West.
All right. Who here from the North? Thinks I'm from the North? No. All right, well, bless your heart if you said the South. I'm actually from the Northeast. But I found out it's not that hard to pretend to be Southern, right? You just throw in a few y'alls and all that. But what really did is I got hit by a car. I woke up in the hospital and I went ahead and ripped the IV bag out. And I said, nurse, you gotta give me a gallon of sweet tea instead. I said, make sure it's more sugar than liquid. And get this fruit cup out of here. I want a dip bottle. And so I officially became Southern. The reason I went down south was for the military. And I was a nuclear operator, right? And every time I say that, people would say, hey, you're a nuclear operator, right? You work with explosives and weapons, like, oh my goodness, that's so dangerous. Who here is from California? Raise your hand. Yeah, none of y'all would be here. California would be gone if I was in charge of nuclear weapons. So yeah. I'm not. I actually just I worked on a submarine, and that's actually the reason I'm here today. I'm going to get into that. So I hate to say this in front of all the lovely ladies. We got a lot of beautiful women here. I hate to embarrass myself, but I'm only 5'8" tall, right? And women love tall men, but turns out on a submarine, 5'8" is really tall. So I used to hit my head all the time because that thing was tighter than a girl on prom night, right? So I'd be smashing my head all the time, and so I hit my head enough times that I was like, you know what? I think I can be a comedian. And so now I'm here, and I love it because at PODFEST, all the ladies have been talking to me. And I'm like, dang, this is so crazy, because usually I walk around Savannah, Georgia, and it's always men. They always be hitting on me. They're like, can I buy you a drink and stuff? And I'll go into the bathroom, and they'll come up behind me, I feel hot breath, and they're like, hey, you pissing alone, handsome? And I'm like, man. The first thing I'm thinking is, how did they know I was in the Navy? Like, that's what I'm thinking. And so I'm thinking to myself, man, I must be doing something wrong. And now, I don't normally dress as a cowboy when I'm walking around downtown. So I'm like, maybe it's, I go here, PODFEST, I put on the cowboy outfit, and now everyone's just thinking, oh man, I'm not ready for that. All the men here are like, man, look at him. Naked 18 cowboys on Random Ranch, hard-throbbing cocks in the shower. They're not ready for that. But yeah, I'm gonna make this comedy sketch like my sex life, and I'm actually gonna not finish it. So I'm not gonna finish.
Mr. Whiskey, everybody, come on, keep it going, turn it up, Mr. Whiskey. Awesome. Hey, when you guys come up here, work the center stage because you're going to be off the frame if you're over there. So make sure you stay in the center of the stage. Next coming to the stage, your next open micer. She is the host of Mother's Quest podcast. She's from the San Francisco Bay Area. She's not a comedian, but she's got a funny story to tell. And she also met Sylvester Stallone in ER in his Rocky days. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Julie Neal, everybody. Julie Neal.
Thank you very much. I'm curious how many people are here because Bob made you come. Show of hands. Just me. So I said I blame him. So I'm definitely not a comedian. I don't even think I'm funny. But Bob said that you can actually come up and tell a story. And I do have a funny story to tell. So here goes. All right. A little over 2 years ago, well, I guess the other thing I want to say about it is laughter comes in unexpected places. So this is also a story about that. A little over 2 years ago, my father, who I love so dearly, died. He went in for a stent and ended up on intubated in the ICU, and he never regained consciousness. That was not funny. But you know, sometimes when these things happen to you, sometimes when these things happen, you reach for old traditions. I'm from the Jewish faith, and I learned that there was something called a shomer, which is somebody who's trained to stay with the body when it arrives at the burial place until you bury the body. The idea is that the soul is in transition in some way, and the shomer guards the body and the soul and keeps it company. So I got a phone call from the shomer. And he said, "I'm here with your dad. I'm right by the body." And I said, "Thank you so much for calling me. I really appreciate that." He's actually not a very religious person, so I don't think he's gonna love like you reading the Psalms all night long, but could you please talk to him about the things that he loves? He loves his daughters. He moved from New York City to California because he loved the sunshine, and he loves to golf. Please talk about those things. So the next day, my mom and my two sisters and I, we walk into the funeral place. We sit down in the room with the person. We have to pick out a coffin and figure out what are all the things about burial. And the woman says to us, "First of all, I am so sorry. I need to apologize. For some reason, we have not been able to get your dad's body from the hospital." And I look at her and I say, "That can't be possible. The shomer called me. He said he was standing by the body." And I told him all these things to tell him about him. And it turns out it was a different body. My sisters and I and my mom, we were grieving and we had been crying a lot, but we started laughing so hysterically, we actually couldn't stop laughing. And the woman in the funeral place, she just kept looking at us like we were nuts. But it was a great example of where, you know, grief and laughter, love and grief are two sides of the same coin. Yep. And I just hope that the guy that was being told these stories, I would imagine him thinking like, "I hate golf." Thank you for this opportunity.
Julie Neal, everybody, give it up, keep it going, Julie. Next coming to the stage, you can find him at bobwhitcomb.art. He's an artist, he's an entertainer. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Bob Whitcomb, everybody. Bob Whitcomb. Keep that applause going, he's not here yet.
All right, you guys having a good time? Me too, me too. My name is Bob Whitcomb.art, but don't worry about that right now. You guys get a choice. Daddy jokes or a over-the-top mic drop stunt.
Stunt. Mic drop.
None? Thank you. Good night. We talked about Sixth Sense, the movie Sixth Sense. and Titanic, you know what they have in common? Icy dead people. That's your dad joke. My uncle put lard on his back. Man, he went downhill fast. So the one windmill turns to the other and goes, what kind of music you like? He goes, I'm a big metal fan. The drummer had twin daughters. Named them Anna 1, Anna 2. What did the podcaster name his kid? Mike. Would you like to see that over-the-top mic drop trick? Yes. Here we go. This has been on my bucket list. We talked about that earlier. I got my bucket, the travel version. Getting older, so I got my walking cane. You ready? Here we go. My bucket trick. The mic drop. The drum roll's on the table.
Oh, wow. Oh my God. Yeah, jump ahead.
Check, check, check. Wow, welcome everybody, the bucket trick. That was awesome, awesome. Give it up for other comedians tonight. You guys did a great job. All right. We have our last open micer, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from New York. It's always hard to go last. The last person's got dragonflies in their stomach. Everybody went up and did well, then wonder if I'm going to do just as well. And I want you guys to bring your A audience game to the very last open micer because it's hard to go last. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from New York, he's got 2 hip replacements. He's too hip to be hip. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Wally Green, everybody.
Oh my God, I'm losing my mind, for real, for real. All right, most of you have met me and we've spoken, we've exchanged some words. A lot of people, they like to introduce me. And when they introduce me, they always go, you know, this is Wally Green. They talk about the crazy shit that I've done. And they always go, you know, you can't make this shit up. I always hear, you can't make this shit up, right? So anyway, I'm a black dude from the projects. Guns and gangs at 13 years old, played ping pong around the world, and did a diplomacy in North Korea for world peace. You can't make this shit up. Like for real, you can't. And when I was in I'll tell you a story about North Korea. It's actually pretty crazy. So anyway, I'm in North Korea. When you go to North Korea, they give you a guide. And the guide is like your babysitter. They're responsible for everything you do. You can't leave your hotel. You can't do anything. You can't shit. You can't do a damn thing unless your guide does it for, well, that does it for you. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. So anyway, all my life, I've always heard about people being brainwashed. You know, the American media, they tell us stuff, but we don't know what's true. You know, we don't know. So I want to know, for real, are people in North Korea brainwashed? So I had a conversation with my guide, and I said to her, I said, listen, I know you guys love me, which I don't know if they love me or not, but I don't want to start no shit. So I said, I know you guys love me, but why do you hate Westerners? And she says, well, we don't hate Westerners. We only want the North Korean culture. We don't want any Western culture in the country. And I say, yeah, okay, I understand that us Westerners mess things up, right? But then I say, do you know you need Western culture for your country to move to the next level? She says, no, we don't. Everything in our country is done by our great, oh, by the way, everything for them is great. Great leader, great country, blah, 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 it's all shit. So anyway, she goes, everything is done by our great leader, our great country. And I said, listen, your great leader has Western influence. She goes, our great leader has no Western influence. I said, what about basketball? She goes, basketball? Created by our great leader. You can't make that shit up. Like, you can't even make shit up like that, right? So then now I wanted to struggle more. I'm like, oh my God, all right, this girl's really brainwashed. And I say to her, I says, listen, okay. I didn't even argue that. And I say, do you know that your great leader studied outside of North Korea? She says, no way, everything about great leader was done by our great country, through our great country, the same old things she was telling before. And I said, that is not true. I said, everyone knows he studied in Switzerland. Now, mind you, I'm in a red zone right here, which means that corrupting the minds of the citizens in North Korea is punishable by 20 years hard labor, which means that I just disappear and I won't be here talking to you guys. So anyway, we're speaking, I'm saying, no, this is true. And I says, listen, your great leader studied outside of North Korea in Switzerland. Everyone knows this. And she goes, that is not true. And I said, oh my God, you're so right. It was the Cuban president. You see, you cannot make shit like this up. I'm Wally Green, and thank you very much.
Wally Green, everybody, Wally Green! That was awesome, awesome. I am so excited about this event because we brought it across the finish line, the very first PODFEST Open Mic, ladies and gentlemen. This is a milestone year. And this is also the 10th anniversary year. Come on. And we did the Hall of Fame. The Podcast Hall of Fame. Give it up for the Hall of Fame. Did you know that the podcast is in the Guinness Book of World Records 2 times? Yes, as am I. I'm in the Guinness Book of World Records 2 times. First time in the 80s, I was the first black man from Chicago with car insurance. Thank you. Appreciate it. Second time I was in the Guinness Book of World Records was actually recently. All right, I was the president of the African American Business Owners of PODFEST 2024. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen. Otherwise known as the PODFEST Entreprenegros. Thank you, my brothers and sisters. Appreciate you guys coming down here. When you get pulled over, if you're a person of non-color, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day. You get pulled over, you're like, look here, officer, I'm late for pickleball. Am I getting detained? No, peace out. I'm not getting a ticket. And nothing happens. When you're a person of color like me, it's a whole different story. I've been pulled over collectively on my comedy tours. I've done over 48 states. I've done actually 49 states, except for Hawaii, doing comedy over the past 40 years. I've gotten pulled over in every single state in America by a state trooper, a sheriff, or police, or somebody. And it's always something. You read the papers, brothers getting shot, they're just like, it doesn't work out. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'm really getting tired of this. So being in Hollywood, I thought I'd have some fun. In Hollywood, they have these souvenir Hollywood celebrity shops. You can go in and you can buy a celebrity souvenir. I happen to, just for fun, I saw the Denzel Washington driver's license. I'm like, hey, in the dark, I might be able to get away. Quit being Denzel. You know what I mean? I got to walk. Right, you sure? Right, you sure? So I'm like, you know what, this will be some fun maybe someday, I don't know. Sure enough, I get a job in New York working on a film because the industry is trying to make an initiative to insert some diversity and hire more people of color on these productions, right? They're like, Kimbrough, you're up. You got a film in New York, you're gonna be on production, you're gonna go down to Edge Rentals, you're gonna pick up a production van, it's a white van, and you're gonna be in charge of picking up all the equipment in New York in this white production van. I'm like, snap, brother working in film, this is nice, right? So I get on the plane, fly to New York, I get off, man. I take a taxi straight to Edge Rentals. I pick up that white van. I get in it, I'm like, I'm getting paid on a bill in the Big Apple, man. And in New York, they have these parkways that don't allow trucks. Anybody from New York would know that, right? New Yorkers, am I right? You got a parkway, no trucks on the parkway, right? So I'm like going, I got a list of the places to punch out to pick up this equipment, right? And I'm driving, and I'm looking at the map, and I'm like, oh, then I'll dip down on the parkway, go down to Kimbrough Rentals, bam, we're making money, right? I get pulled over by a New York State trooper going down the New York Parkway, and it's about like 9:30 at night. And I'm like, oh man, New York too? You know, all them brothers get shot. I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, what I got to lose? I might as well have some fun with this state trooper. If I'm gonna get shot anyway, I might as well have some fun, you know what I'm saying? He gets out of his car, he walks up, that state trooper New York attitude. Yeah, you know why I pulled you over? Like what, driving while black? He's like, no, you're on the parkway and it's against the law to have this vehicle on the parkway. I go, really? What's the law? It's like, no trucks. I'm like, well, I'm in a van. He's like, but that's a commercial vehicle. I go, but you said truck, this is a van. And he's like, look, I don't want to hear, just give me your driver's license and your registration. I'm like, you want a driver's license? I got a driver's license. I pulled out my Denzel right, I just gave it to him. He didn't even look at it. He just went back to his car, got in, and then he sat down, and then he like, came back out, and he's like, you ain't Denzel Washington. I go, yeah, this ain't a damn truck either. So. You gonna let me go? I'll wait for a pickleball tournament. Man, that's real life true. That's an actual true story that happened. We get pulled over, and it's just, you got to deal with life sometimes, man. And I got to be honest with you. You know, we do a lot of cool stuff, right? And when I say we, I said like we as in people of color. You know, we got tenacity. We got, you know, we will overcome any obstacles. It's just in the nature, right? So I've been an athlete my whole life, multiple sports, but my one sport that I excelled in on an international level, I'm gonna have you guess on what that is. Can you guess? Pickleball! Pickleball, good answer! My pickleball person over here. My partner, nope, not pickleball.
Ice skating.
Ice skating, no, he said ice skating. No ice skating. No. Gymnastics, good answer. No, I was a 1 meter and 3 meter springboard diver. Yeah, isn't that cool? It was so awesome, but here's the thing. I was doing back summer handsprings, and the swimming coach says, wow, that's pretty cool. We need a diver. You want to be on the swim team? I'm like, I'm from the hood, I can't swim. He's like, don't worry about it. We'll work it out. I get down to the pool. He says, here's what I want you to do. I want you to hold your breath, do 2 somersaults, and then I'll reach in there with the lifeguard pole and I'll pull you out. That's what I did. I did my 2 somersaults, went in the water, held my breath. But coach pulled the pole in. You know how embarrassing it is to have your coach pull you out of the water? On the swim team, you can't swim. That's embarrassing, man. But my first meet is way more embarrassing for the opponent because I turned out to be a really good diver. Really good. I mean, I was killing 2.5 with no splash. Killing it. You know how embarrassing it is to get like 8.5 9s on your score and have your coach fish you out in the run? That's what it's like. You guys have been a lot of fun. Thank you. That's my time. Bring them all up. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to give a serious standing O for all of the open micers tonight. Come on. Open micers, come back to the stage. Let's get a photo out. All of our open micers. You guys, thank you so much. This has been amazing. Get your cameras out, and you can post this on your Instagrams. You guys, thank you very much for making this possible. Come on, open micers, come on. We got room. Get your cameras out.
Real quick, I just want to say, well, we were all part of it. I hope you don't mind me saying this, but sometimes you're part of a committee, but only one person really does anything. That was Pod Brother. He did everything. Round of applause for him. For really pulling all this together. He went above and beyond. We did a little bit. This man right here.
All right, everybody, there is a dance party. So we definitely have to see you guys at the main stage, okay? 8:30.
Thanks again. Sign up early for next year. List is